You said, quote, I don't want to make black people's lives better by giving them somebody else's money when you were talking about welfare. And the point you were trying to make, because I want to be fair to you tonight, is that, look, we got to get away from this entitlement society.
I never thought this day would ever happen. I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
This food stamp card ain't got number 17 cents on it.
Terry Clark says she stood in line for more than 6 hours at Clayton County's Human Services office because food stamp help for her 6 children unexpectedly ended.
There's no telling my kids that we can't eat. I'm not taking no, because my babies don't deserve that. Nobody kids should go hungry down here in Georgia.
37-year-old Angel Adams blames the system for her problems, a system of social service agencies trying to help her. Adams has 15 children, 12 who are now living with her in this small motel room.
Somebody needs to pay for all my children and mine and Gary, all our suffering, all our pain. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and they need to pay.
Now, thousands of East Point residents have been fighting for a chance to get public housing assistance. Take a look at this. News Chopper 2 captured the massive crowd and chaos this morning in the parking lot as tempers flared over the city's plan to hand out the Section 8 applications.
A mad dash fueled by desperation as thousands of people fought for an application to get on a waiting list for East Point public housing.
We sit up here trying to get some Section 8.
When the doors finally opened at 9 a.m., frustrations flared, and police could barely contain the angry crowds.
Ain't no organization. This was unorganized, completely unorganized.
When a riot nearly erupted, East Point officials dispersed the crowd, but that seemed to only multiply the problems. Here is another bird's eye view taken about an hour ago from News Chopper 2. You can see the thousands upon thousands of people who were here. That crowd again is thinned out as most of the people have gotten their applications. The housing authority here in East Point told us they simply were not prepared for these crowds. The last time they did this was 2004, and they were not prepared to see this many people come out. In fact, they're telling people to not bring these applications to their office because of the crush of people they might expect. They're asking them now to mail them in by August 30th. We'll have more for you coming up in the next half hour, but for now, we are live in East Point, South Fulton County. I'm Mike Pachenik, Channel 2 Action News.
When they said, come on, it was a done deal. Everybody just called out, you know what I'm saying, like it was an old horse race or something.
A chaotic scene as hundreds make a run for the door and a chance at Dallas County housing vouchers. That story topping our news this midday. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Ron Corning. Rental assistance at what price? At least 8 people suffered injuries while trying to line up this morning to apply for a limited number of Dallas County rental vouchers. That after waiting for hours in their cars.
People began arriving as early as 4 o'clock yesterday, but they had to park Ron all the way across the street, and many of them stayed there all through the night on a very hot night. And you could just imagine at 5:30 this morning when the gates finally opened, that's when things got out of hand. Ambulances arrived with paramedics treating at least 7 to 8 people injured as the chaos continued. The line along Polk Street stretched more than a mile back, many sitting out on the median, security nearby. When word got out the doors opened an hour and a half early, that's when people began racing for the opportunity to fill out an application for housing assistance. Was it worth it? As many as 15,000 people are expected to show up here to apply for rental assistance throughout the day. And to give you some idea of what's available, Dallas County has 3,800 vouchers, and only 100 are available right now. The rest will be freed up over the next few years as people come off that rental assistance. And these people right now, if they qualify, will then get that rental assistance.
Yo, what's up world? It's your boy Philosopher here. Now, I should have washed the dishes before I did this video, but I don't want to. I'm a pimp. I'm a hustler. Whatever. But anyway, let's get to this video. I just came back from walking. I know I'm gonna get to the video, but first I'm gonna say this. I just came back from walking like 2 miles to take Orlia somewhere. It was only should have been like 4-minute walk, but it was a 25-minute walk because you should never trust a female's sense of direction. I'm kidding. Just not only a sense of direction. But as I walked around, I realized the neighborhood I'm in is really nice. The place I'm in is generally expensive because of the location. This location is really, really, really nice. And I didn't see this video clip I just showed you guys until I got back. This is the first thing I saw when searching on that channel that I was planning on searching before I went out. So as soon as I got home, I searched it. And I just happened to see these things. Those clips of the black people dying for welfare, the black people like running to get vouchers for housing assistance and all this stuff. And you know, it's embarrassing generally. I mean, look, when I'm about to say, I'm not just talking about myself. There's tons of other black people out there who are doing the same, who have done the same. But unfortunately, we need more. All I want to say is, you know, I just feel so happy that I'm able to live. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Moscow, but where I am in Moscow, I'm just very proud of myself that I'm able to afford to live here. And that I'm able to afford to live in a place like this when I get back to New York City. You know, and I'm very proud of myself because I, you know, earned all these things on my own. There's no help, none of that. It was all on my own. No government assistance or something like that. I look at the world differently because right before I was here, you know, I was in the projects, like a lot of you know. I was basically living in my grandmother's house because she went to the old folks home. She was there for like 3 years. So for those 3 years, I guess we kind of expected that one day she would come back. So I had to live in the apartment until she would most likely come back. But I was like, you know, I can't stay there forever. I got to go to Russia and do my business. So when I came here, one of my friends lived there, another one of my friends lived there, and then it was just gone. The apartment was gone. Some homeless person, I don't even want to get into it. Some homeless person had the key and all this bullshit. My cats were living there and shit. Anyway, I'm relaxed. But you know, the apartment's giving up now, but all I really want to say is that I think a lot of these people who want housing, who feel they need it, who run for food stamps, who want housing assistance, not housing, but housing assistance, public housing, and you know, they run for food stamps. The first thing I want to say about them is most of them are in that cycle in which they have kids when they're not ready. A lot of them have kids when they're not ready. They have large families that they already basically cannot afford to support properly. They have large families, so if I had 3 kids, I would be doing the same thing. If I had 3 kids and I don't think I'm able to afford enough for them, I'd be running for the food stamps too. I'd be running for the public housing too. I would be doing the same exact thing. That's why I don't have kids. That's exactly why I don't have kids. I think the biggest problem with Black America today is that we have kids when we're goddamn not ready. We're not ready. We have kids way too young and we're not ready for shit. And if you want to say white people, Asian people, all these people do it too, then why are we leading in the statistics of having kids out of wedlock, no fathers in the house, leading race on public assistance? Why? Why us? And you know what? I remember someone once said to me, they said, you know, there's just as many Jews on public assistance as black people. Let's just pretend that's true. Let's just pretend it's true, right? I said, so what is your point? Because one thing I noticed between black neighborhoods and Jewish neighborhoods is one, a black neighborhood is usually fucked up. A Jewish neighborhood is usually just fine. In a black neighborhood, usually when people are on public assistance, they ain't really doing shit else. They ain't starting no business. They're usually just sitting home fucking getting fat and taking care of their kids with the public housing money. And they get used to it, so they get accustomed to it. So they go party Friday and Saturday, and other days of the week they sit in the fucking house. But what do the Jews do? They get involved with each other's businesses, even if they're on public assistance. You understand? They don't just sit there and take public assistance and sit on their ass. You know what I mean? They do something else on the side. That's why their neighborhoods are good. That's why they're not killing each other at record numbers. And that's why they're fucking, well, I'm talking about in America. They're not killing each other at fucking record numbers and things like that. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. You know, the average Jewish person don't have to worry about getting robbed walking down a Jewish street. That's just ridiculous. They don't have to worry about it. Now, maybe they get robbed in a bank somehow, but that's different. We'll get to that some other time, you know. That's just a smarter way of committing crime that I'm sure all people do of all races, not just Jews, but I'm just saying. You understand? If a Jewish person's going to rob you, it's not going to be on the street with a gun. It's going to be with his brain at a bank. Not shooting the bank, but, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I'd rather be that criminal than some guy on the street with no brain and a gun. I'd rather be intelligent, get some money off people in a smart way. So I can't be mad at them for being smarter and being more productive. Even if they're on welfare, I guarantee you, even if many Jews and Orthodox Jews in America are on welfare, they're making a whole lot more money on the side, and they're not just sitting and chilling on that welfare money. They're not just sitting and chilling on their public housing or whatever. They're doing more. They are doing more. And what sucks about our community is there's no shame in the welfare thing. There's no shame. I'm going to say it. I remember when I rarely ever communicate with like most of the females in my family. Very rarely. Like have a sister. I have how many nieces? They keep having children. I can't keep up with this. There's my sister. She has 3 daughters. My sister has 3 daughters. Her oldest daughter also has a daughter, which my niece had before my mother's daughter. So that means, in short, in my family, with my nieces and my sister, my niece's daughter is older than my mother's daughter. So in that case, the aunt is younger than the niece. Something like that. That's the situation. It's confusing. I don't feel like going through it. But yeah, it's very strange because people have children too young. My sister's first baby was when she was 14. Her daughter's first baby was at 16 or 17. Nobody's married. No one's married. It's just the cycle keeps continuing. Public assistance, they all been there. I'm pretty sure my sister was definitely on it. You know what I mean? My niece, I'm not exactly sure, but I remember hearing someone offering her that when I went to a family, it wasn't a family reunion, it was a family get-together. The only time you really see me around my family, if you're in New York, is when my mother's there. If my mother's there, I'll go, I'll talk, and then I'm just out once my mother leaves. That's really it. Once she's gone, I'm gone. There's really no point in me being there. There's no one I really want to speak to. When I see my father, it doesn't have to be a family gathering. I'll just go see him whenever. But like when I'm around a bunch of my family, it's because my mother's there. If not, odds are I'm not going to be there. There's nothing for me there. You understand? Because I'm honestly disappointed with a lot of the shit that goes on. And I remember one day, I'll put it out there, one day when this all happened, when I just got tired of it, like, was I still in high school? Or I might have been in college. It might have been when I was in college or in the military. I don't exactly remember. But for whatever reason, I know I needed sleep. But what happened was my sister, she's 7 years older than me. At this time, she had 3 kids. 2 kids was always at my father's house. They were always at my father's house, and I used to live with him, always. Her 2 daughters. And the son is always with his father. And they all have different fathers, just saying. All the kids have different fathers. All 4 of them have different fathers. But at this time, only 3 of the kids were actually alive. The other one wasn't born yet. So like every Friday and Saturday night, I'm trying to sleep because I got shit to do the next day. Kids just downstairs jumping, screaming. If I tell them, you know, hey, keep it down, whatever, an hour later, jumping, screaming, I'm waking up, I'm tight because they were right below me and there's nothing I can do. I couldn't afford to go live in my own spot at the time. I was probably 20, 21 years old. I couldn't afford it yet. So one day, I just wrote her on Facebook. I just blew it up. I'm like, I'm tired of you. You have kids real young, all this stuff. You got these kids here, and you're busy partying every Friday, Saturday night. Where's their fathers? They need to have their fathers in their life. I've heard you even say once that you hate being a mother. You wish you didn't have kids. You're the reason we have these cycles, blah, blah, blah. And I let her have it. And ever since then, I guess we're like the biggest enemies ever. But I didn't give a shit. You know, that whole cycle is just ridiculous. And it keeps fucking happening. It keeps happening. Kids having kids in the black community is a fucking nuisance, and it's extremely embarrassing. And that's why people need to run to welfare. They need to run to do this. They need to run to do that because they become so focused, and they have to, on being moms. They focus on becoming moms, or they just do become moms too early in life, in which they didn't have a chance to build themselves and be mothers properly. And to add to it, because they become mothers so early, they miss out on a lot of their childhood that they try to get when they have children. So a lot of people say things to me like, oh, I'm childish. I'm like, I could be that. I don't have any kids. I just take care of me. But once you have kids, you have to grow the fuck up. You can't act like a teenager or a kid anymore. You have children. You have to set an example. You can't dress like that. Of course you can, but odds are you're going to fuck up your kids. And that's what usually happens. So I'm not surprised when I see a mother who had children early out of wedlock. I'm not surprised to see her daughter have children early out of wedlock. What the fuck do you expect? You know, having children early is just so, it's really, really fucking bad. I don't give a shit what country you're from and you're watching this. Right now I'm talking about black Americans. So don't write them out in my country, this and that. I don't give a shit about your country right now, no offense. I'm talking about black Americans. This is a big problem with us. We're in a country called America, and a lot of people here in America are doing just fine. Why the fuck are we fucking up so much? We live in a country where people are dying to come here and stay, but we're fucking up so much that we need government assistance. I think a lot of us just get comfortable just not having to worry too much. And when a lot of us don't want to have to worry too much, we run to the system instead of making a business or something that gives us stable income or just something. It's like a lot of us can't think outside of the box. No, we don't think outside of the box. I'm honestly surprised I'm the only black American doing something that I'm doing here in Russia. Touring around the city, making money, teaching English. Now, I'm not saying you had to think of it, but it's strange that I'm the only black person doing this. Of course, there's other black teachers here who teach at a university or something, but I'm the only one literally touring the whole entire country because there's nobody else doing it. No one else thought of this? I think in the black community, except for when it comes to hip-hop and entertainment, when it comes to making money legally, we lack creativity. Aside from, you know, like basketball, football, rap, movies. We lack creativity and we lack drive, like business. We're not very business conscious as a people. We really need to be more business conscious. We need a better sense of community because this shit is embarrassing. We gotta start, you know, we have to start speaking down on it, man. We have to start speaking down on it. You know what I mean? It should be, I don't know what to say. I mean, it should be really looked down upon when your daughter's fucking getting pregnant early. You know, it should be really looked down upon. Now, of course, you gotta take care of the child or whatever, but fuck that. You set an example. If you have a daughter or a son who has a baby real early, fuck that. No more partying. Maybe once every 4 months, but no more partying. Make sure they have to work hard, stay with that baby all the fucking time, so all the younger ones in the family see how hard they have to work. They don't get to have fun. They're always miserable. Odds are they're gonna wait until they're older and they're ready to have a baby before they have it. Make examples out of those motherfuckers. Don't try to make it too easy on them. Make it hard just like it is, and make an example out of them. Put them on fucking Facebook. Baby waking them up every morning, doing all this stuff. Make examples of these people who fuck up, just so everyone else who see it, especially the young ones, won't follow those steps. I don't care if it's someone on World Star Hip Hop who beat somebody up. You found the guy who beat him up on World Star Hip Hop? Fine. Put him in jail. Give him prison time. Give him 3 years. Give him 3 years for beating someone up for no reason. Sure, give him 3 years hard time. Make that public. Make it public. Put it on Facebook. So younger people can see it and say, all that just for beating somebody up for no reason? Fuck that, I ain't doing it. Oh, but poor guy, he'll be in jail for 3 years and all he did was beat somebody up. Look, the motherfucker did an ignorant, violent thing. I'd rather him go to jail for 3 years. I'd rather he do go to jail for 3 years just so our young generation can see it and crime goes down more. I bet you that'll work. Popular culture works like a motherfucker. And I've been saying that for a long time. Popular culture works like a motherfucker. Music, movies, the media, all that shit helps control people's brains more than you can imagine once you get in a business like YouTube. You start to realize how this shit actually works. How media, the spoken word, the culture, all that stuff affects people so fucking much. Like, for instance, let's say the thing happening in Ukraine right now is just in Kiev, right? And let's just say the size of the riot is maybe just four streets radius. Like 4 streets radius. You know how many thousands or millions of people won't go to Kiev at all just because of that 4-block radius or diameter riot, which all the other areas are absolutely fine? The media's not going to focus on those fine areas. They're going to focus on the dangerous areas. And not trying to say they're trying to control you. They're trying to get views. But what it does is it makes your brain think a certain way that's actually not true. The vast majority of Kiev, you can go visit. You'll be fine. There's just areas there where they're going crazy. There's areas. It's not the whole thing, but most people will think it's the whole part of Kiev. Or it's maybe even all Ukraine is safe to not go there. The reason why I say for me to not go there is because I was going to work in the center of Kiev. I wasn't in some other city or something, some other town. No, I was going to be in the center. And so where I was going to teach, I'd be very close to the riots, and no one wants to risk that, so that makes sense. But that's what I mean. So if we start popularizing the punishment that these young, especially black, that these young black males get when they get caught doing things, it will deter the younger people from wanting to do it. There should be a MTV show called I Got Caught or something, and it shows like, yeah, you know, I beat up this guy, I sliced him with a razor, now I live here, and just show how much they get, just show what they go through in prison, show how depressed they are, show their parents crying, show them crying. Every week have a new dude who got caught doing something bad, and the high amount of years he got for it. Just so whenever someone's about to do something stupid, especially a young person, they think, oh damn, last person who did this, I saw on TV, 5 years. He can't do shit, he can't get a girlfriend. He can't go to school, he can't hang out with his friends. He can't do anything, so you know what, I'm gonna fall back on this. I'm not gonna do it. And that's basically it, people. I think I'm blabbing now. But if you're a black American and these images don't offend you, you're a special person in my book. But to me, it's extremely offensive, and it kind of makes us look like animals, dude. Can't front. It kind of makes us look like animals. Let's get it together. Later.